Merch Minds Podcast, episode 83. My name is Glenn. Yang is here. I'm growing out my hair, and Yang is growing out a beard.
Dude, I'm growing out my hair and beard. I'm looking shady.
This guy is looking rugged.
Dude, I'm not looking too good at all.
Have you ever grown out a full beard?
I have one time.
Do you have a photo of this?
I don't think I actually have a picture, but I have grown out my beard one time. Dude, I freaking look like Osama bin hiding.
Do we have merch news, or do you want to start with numbers?
We got some merch. We have some merch news. Let's start with our numbers like we normally do. You want to go ahead and start with your numbers?
Sure. So today is June 1st, starting off a new month. By the time you guys watch this,
by fast.
Oh man, it's super quick. I mean, next thing you know, summer's gonna be done. It's gonna be Q4 already.
Yeah,
and we're set. But anyway, so this, let me see. Last 7 days, products sold 129, returns 6, revenue 2,237 and 75 cents, royalties $408.93, and today is, we said June 1st. I've sold about 13 shirts, and it's 3:32 p.m.
Did your numbers go down from last week?
Yeah, they've gone down roughly about $70 more or less.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I think last week you were in the 500s, right?
Yeah, I was in the 500s. So they've gone down probably like 70 something bucks or so.
This thing's a roller coaster, man. So for me, last 7 days, 101 shirts sold, 6 returned, product purchases $2,016.87, total estimated royalty $478.79. So my numbers are actually going up, which isn't surprising because I've talked about this on the podcast now a bunch of times. June, by far, last year was my biggest month ever outside of Q4, right? Even with Q4, June's always been my best month. So it's not surprising that my numbers are going up. Let's see how I do in the next couple of, 2-3 weeks. See how my numbers do. See if they spike up. Because if they do, that means for some reason June's a very good month, and I wish June was every month.
Why do you think your June numbers are better than the other months?
Father's Day. For some reason, Father's Day t-shirts do really good for me. I've done Mother's Day t-shirts. They don't seem to do as well. But for some reason, Father's Day, since last year, has been a huge, huge niche for me.
And you've been working on those Father's Day stuff for the last 2 weeks, or what?
I've put up some new ones since last year. But it's just one particular shirt from last year that keeps selling, even throughout the year, right? It'll sell, and then in June it'll just kind of it'll take off.
Yeah.
So hopefully my numbers will climb back up here in June. I'm hoping. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm still designing. I'm leveraging Penji. I've hired. I've talked about Brother Hacks. So it's working out pretty good. I'm going to reach out probably in, well, let's see, the university, the semester just ended. No, I guess I can still contact them because they have summer classes. But I'm going to contact San Jose State University, the old program that I went through, and try and hire a couple of students from there as well.
Yeah.
Because everyone that I talk to, man, they're like, dude, you need to leverage, man. They're like, you need to scale, you need to leverage. So that's what I need to do, because I'm just sick and tired of people being on merch for like 6 months and they're like already on the 50,000 tier. I'm still on the 4,000 tier.
Okay.
So I gotta scale, man.
This guy's ready.
I'm ready. But now, what are you doing? I mean, are you designing? Or I mean, I know you're using your brother as well, but are you personally designing?
Yeah, so I was I think when did you send me a message? I think on Wednesday I did get some new shirts uploaded that I was working on, and then on Friday I was really like on research mode and seeing what kind of like niches I can get into that's not I guess overtaken already, that has a bunch of designs already. So I was doing that. I did come up with some pretty good ideas that I think are not, oversaturated. See what happens. I'll get them uploaded hopefully this weekend, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cool.
yeah, I'm doing designs right now.
I'm noticing that some of my newer shirts are selling. I don't know if we mentioned this last week when we did the recap of the licensing expo, but one of the questions that I personally asked when we had the meetup with Amazon was, I asked him, I was like, "Hey, is there any throttling?" And they confirmed there is absolutely no throttling.
Mm-hmm.
They said chances are there's some things that are going to break every now and then. I mean, that's just technology. But she said there's absolutely no throttling. And if you notice that sales have decreased, it's because there's just too much competition at the moment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so they did confirm that there is absolutely no throttling whatsoever.
Yeah. And I think maybe at this point, but I mean they had it on that part of the news section at one point. Remember saying that certain shirts weren't going to be available.
Yeah, but
Um,
that was what, a couple months back though, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that at one point, I mean, it was definitely
Yeah, no,
real.
she's talking about now. She said as of now, right now, there is no throttling. Every now and then something will break, but that's just how technology works, and they'll try and fix it. Um, but there is no throttling by Amazon.
Yeah.
Um, let's say I did get approved for the merch collab.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know what that is, that's a new program that Amazon announced. Was it last week now? A couple. Dude, my sense of time. Dude, I forget so many things. I think it was last week, right? Anyway, it's their new program that they announced about a week ago, where real designers can now design for influencers, people like Shane Dawson, Rick and Morty. We mentioned CrossFit, and I know there's a bunch of others. But check this out. So I talked to Eric, right?
Mm-hmm,
Because he's
mm-hmm.
been doing it for a couple months now. And he said it's a slow process, right? And I asked him, I'm like, what do you mean by slow? Dude, you can submit a design and you probably even won't hear from them for like a couple of months.
Mm.
And it makes sense, right? For instance, people like Shane Dawson, he said he personally approves or reject every design that's submitted, right? So
Yeah.
imagine one person, obviously that being Shane Dawson, he has to go through hundreds and hundreds of designs that's being submitted. So it might take a month or two, right?
Yeah. And I
So
mean, in this case, what we're pretty much saying is like, let's say Young designs like 10 Shane Dawson shirts, you submit them all, and
mhm,
let's say 3 months later, 9 of them get denied, but one of them, he approves or something that they're going to
sure,
use, then you're going to collect the royalties from that one design. But it could happen to where you submit a bunch of designs and none of them get approved. And
exactly.
you're pretty much, you're throwing your work out there, you're working on something you really want to get in, but nothing could come out of it. But you already know that going in.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. I'm more realistically focused on my main account. This is something that I'll do every now and then, right? Because here's the thing, like I'm gonna be honest. I've never even heard of Shane Dawson up until freaking Merch by Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who the guy was, and I think I might have watched like one or two videos of
Mm-hmm.
his. Um, I'm probably not the right type of person to design a shirt for someone like Shane Dawson because
Yeah.
I don't know what he does. I don't know what he says, right? And I have no intention of doing that. I rather do designs for like content creators like CrossFit. Um, I think Eric was telling me also something about the angry orange or something,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I'm not gonna watch the angry orange because I have no interest in it, right? But if there's just a general influencer that I think I can work with, I'll definitely submit designs for them, right? I don't like I said the whole Sean Dawson does that it doesn't attract me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know I don't know what his videos are about. I heard they're funny at times. I heard they're stupid. I don't know. I don't know the guy, so I have no intention of doing any designs for him.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to sit in front of my computer and watch all his videos trying to figure out what I can do. Right? I'm not. That's just a waste of my time. Let's
Let
see.
me ask you this question. So if I get 50 more thousand subscribers and then I get to 100,000, will you make Hustler Hack shirts if I submit my
If
name as an influencer?
dude, that's actually not a bad idea. You should get 100,000 subscribers. I submit a design, you just approve it, knowing that it came from me, and we could run an empire here.
There, a bunch of royalties just coming in.
Yeah,
I got a
I bet
long
you.
way to go.
Yeah, let's do. How many subscribers you have now?
Like 44 or something.
Dude, dude, come on,
I
get
know.
just get
And
yourself some
now I
more
gotta get, no,
subscribers.
it's actually more than 50,000.
Get yourself some more subscribers, okay? This
Okay.
is a good business plan here.
All right. I'll just start buying some.
There you go.
I did have some
Yeah.
questions though that came from the channel if you want to answer. Because
Uh,
I just figured, because this
Questions
was
about what?
last week's episode.
About collab?
No, last week's episode about just a couple of comments, but yeah, actually some about the collab, some about the VA
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah. What's
remember
up?
last week you said when you talked to the person from Amazon, they had mentioned that the VA part, you can't hire someone to upload and have access to your account, know your password, upload designs for you,
Let me clarify
right?
that. Let me clarify that. What they told me, okay, was they said no one else should have the password to your account. I never said anything about uploading or any of that. They said what they told me was they said no one should have the password to your account. You guys can interpret it the way you guys want, but to me, I mean, if you guys have an uploader, how else are they logging in?
Yeah. And I think so shout out to him because he actually Hawk Ting of Five, hopefully I said his name right, but always watches every single episode and everything.
Oh,
So he was
okay.
I think what this question was kind of getting confused with a part of the design part. So it said, well, they said technically isn't hiring a firm to do your designs considered a VA, Young? So technically you're not doing everything yourself. I still love you, bro. Hawk.
Was he
So
trying to call me out?
I think he's getting confused the part that
No, he was trying to call me out. Just joking. No, look, no, look. Amazon is aware that a lot of us are using VAs to design
Mhm.
T-shirt designs. That's okay, from my understanding. What they said was no one should have the password to your account except you. Okay, they're aware people are hiring designers and whatnot. I got the impression that's fine.
And then the other thing he said, one more thing. Well, who is the guy that drew for Ren and Stimpy? You guys should hook him up with the collab thing. And then our answer was he's already been doing
He's
it,
been doing it for like
which
two,
was
3 months.
Eric. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's already been doing it for a
I
while.
talk to him every day now. The guy's hilarious.
He just said that it hasn't really been working for him yet, but right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. He said he sold a few designs, but nothing's really taken off. And um, but yeah, I mean, and he did. Eric's the one that told me. He said it's a slow process. He's like, you can submit a design and not hear anything for like 2 months.
Yeah. So there you go. You had some other merch news?
Yeah, Pretty Merch. Are you using Pretty Merch?
I'm not using pretty merch.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of us using Pretty Merch, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's a Chrome extension that has all your merch data on one page, so you guys don't have to go back and forth to different pages. Well, the guy contacted me a few days ago. He's like, "Look, I just added this new feature, auto relogin for Pretty Merch. Basically, it You know when you log into your merch account, there's that tiny little box that says "click here" if you want to stay logged in.
Hmm.
We know for a fact that damn thing doesn't work,
Yeah, that's a
right?
lie.
Because it logs you out like after 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So the pretty merch, oh, in fact, I just got another sale, dude. I've been logged in since last night. It doesn't log me out. So that's a good segue to what I was going to say is um so pretty merch the auto relogging feature, it doesn't log you out now. So whenever you're in your computer, it doesn't log you out. Every time you get a sale, you get that cha-ching like you just heard now.
Hmm.
Right? Cool feature. However, you do have to pay for it. Now there's a free version of Pretty Merch, right? But with the premium version, you also get the auto relogin now, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I've been logged in since last night, so cool feature. It's $9.99 a month. If you guys use my promo code, it's 24 life. Okay, number 20 FOR life, all caps. And we'll have the link in the show notes. If you guys use that, it'll be $7.99 for as long as you subscribe.
And you know why I think, I mean, I did use it for a little while. You know what I was kind of like, it's just me with being paranoid in certain things. Did you ask the question, or did anybody ask the question as far as like different plugins that go into your merch thing, and if they have a problem with that kind of stuff or no?
What do you mean?
Like Amazon in general, merch by Amazon, like people that use different plugins for
You know
your.
what? That topic never came up when
Hmm,
we talked to Amazon. We never talked to them about using third party services or anything like that. Um, I don't know why this would be an issue. I've been using it. I know a lot of the big players use it.
yeah.
So I don't think it's an issue. And I know one of the more common questions people are going to ask is, well, where is your username and password being stored?
Mm,
He is not. Your password basically is being stored on the extension or your computer on your local drive. The developer doesn't have access to any of that. It's stored on
okay.
your local drive, so you guys should be comfortable knowing that. But yeah, I've been logged in since last night, man. So this thing's awesome. It's just plugging away.
Oh, okay. I think that's what it was in the very beginning. And then I was like, what? And then I started using it. And then I completely forgot about it.
Mhm.
And then I didn't use
I
it
mean,
anymore.
like me, just
But it is
even
good. There's really good stats though, as far
right
as
now.
like,
No, I was just gonna say, even
yeah,
without the auto login, without the auto relogin, I just like all the data and the analysis just on one page. It breaks everything down, right?
yeah, yeah, totally.
Um, I had a coaching call the other day, and I was just telling you about before the show. And the guy was asking me, he goes, "Hey, what shirts do you sell the most?" And I was on Pretty Merch, and I was able to tell him, "Look, 89% of my shirts are all standards,
Yeah,
right?" Um, so I mean, just that alone, I mean, I don't mind paying for Pretty Merch, and in fact, I've been paying for Pretty Merch since he went pro a couple months ago.
yeah. And I think
So
it has better stats and a very better look than just the regular merch by Amazon standard
yeah,
desk dashboard that we get
yeah,
regular.
yeah,
Looks
absolutely.
pretty clean.
And he's gonna be launching some more features, I'm sure. But yeah, that'll be in the show notes, guys. If you guys want to subscribe, I'm digging it. I love it.
You know what? I did
Let's
have one more question.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
from I forgot where I read it from. It might have been one of the comments on one of the older videos. And I remember I was going to ask you. So, someone made this comment. You let us know, Young, true or false. Now that merch, I mean, it's always evolved, right? I mean, they're changing, they're doing other things. Someone that left a comment. Do you think it's true that where we're at now, you can no longer the method of recreating designs that have a good rank no longer works as well as it used to.
What does that mean? Are they asking, getting inspirations from someone else's design and making their own version?
Yeah, like going through, let's say, the top rank shirts. This one looks cool, has a certain funny tagline, and then you're gonna make it your own version and keep doing that over and over again.
I'm no expert, but there are people who's made a fortune doing that, though, right? So I don't think those days are over. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I've always said I'm not an expert. I'm no guru, but in my opinion, I think you can still get away with doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, don't copy pixel by pixel.
No, no, no.
Try and make your own version of it. But I don't think I think there's still money to be made doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I think there is too, but I do think also that merch has kind of evolved to where I think there was more of that being done, at a certain point that more people came in. I was like, okay, let's do more of that.
Hmm.
Now I think it's more of like, how can your idea be different? Maybe slogan or taglines be kind of different. Of course, original ideas and artwork, like combination. Like I think it is evolving more into the person being creative in the idea and the design part more than what it used to be, to where you could do a lot more just rank stuff and I'll just make it my own and then just throw a bunch of them on there.
I'll tell you what Amazon said in the meetup. Okay, they said you have to have good design. That's what they said. Okay, so the idea of just putting up some random stuff like people are doing, it might have worked to some point, but Amazon specifically said good designs do matter. So I'm just gonna throw it out there.
There we go. Then I think maybe we should do our another topic on that then.
Yeah,
Another
absolutely.
show. Do
Uh huh.
design
Good design. Yeah. Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference. That's happening
this
uh,
weekend.
this weekend. I really wanted to go. I can't go um, because my boss, dude, she decided to go to France on
Mm.
vacation. I didn't know that up until about a couple of weeks ago. So whenever someone goes on vacation, someone needs to hold down the office. So um, until she comes back, I need to hold down the office, so I can't go. But a lot of good people out there. I know Ken's there. The Jersey guys are there. Neil Lassen, obviously, he lives out there.
Chris
Uh,
Green.
Chris Green, all those good guys. Good people, man. Wish I wanted to go. In fact, that design conference is next week. I can't go to that either until she comes back from France.
Oh man, look at this guy.
We're gonna ruin my plans, man. I had registered and everything, man. Oh, well,
Out of
whatever.
control.
So
Work ridiculous.
ridiculous, man. But yeah, hey, let's get into today's show. I promised you guys I'm gonna get my CPA on. He finally agrees. He comes on. We talk to him, and his name's Abe. Um, the guy's been doing my taxes forever. And I like him because he kind of reminds me of myself. He jokes a lot. He's just a good guy in general, man. But so we talked to him. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the stuff I'm sure he's gonna say will probably just go over my head, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that will understand what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk to Abe about taxes. Guys, we have a very special show this week. My personal friend, my good friend, and my CPA, enrolled agent, I should say. Sorry, uh, Abe Saghieh. Did I pronounce that right?
You got it right, yeah. Slowly
Dude,
but surely.
I've known you for years. I can never pronounce your damn last name.
It's okay. I know. I understand. You're forgiven. It's not an easy one.
I know. Hey, Abe, thanks so much for being on the show. I know you're freaking super busy. You just had a kid. This guy is so busy. He's just as bad as I am, except he actually makes money, right? Um, so, Abe, welcome to the show. So, tell us about yourself. What's your background? I know you do my taxes every year and whatnot. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an enrolled agent. I run an accounting company. I have some people that work for me. Our primary offices are located in Cupertino.
Cupertino,
We've been
California.
there. That is correct. And we have been there for 9 years, going on to 10. Soon will be 10, and we serve around 700 clients in the Bay Area, plus businesses on top of that, and we do tax accounting as we do for you, and we also do QuickBooks and payroll for people that want it, and we also deal with a lot with tax planning, and we deal with all kinds of people, from people that take the earned income tax credit all the way to high net worth individuals.
Okay, cool. And we apologize about some of the audio. I know, Abe, you're out and about, because like I said, you're just a busy guy. So Abe's been doing my taxes for years, and I've been talking about it, Abe. Dude, I've been talking about you on the podcast for like the last couple of years now.
Well,
And yeah, man, I've said nothing but good things about you, except I think it was last summer. I was like, damn it, I can't find my CPA. Dude, I forgot you had a kid and that you had left the country, and I completely forgot about that. And I was like, I can't get a hold of my CPA or I'm sorry, enrolled agent. But I completely forgot that you had a child, man. So my bad. I apologize, but you showed me pictures, beautiful baby boy, Raphael. He's healthy. Um, but um, but yeah, so Abe, like you said, he does accounting here in Cupertino, California. In fact, his office is literally right next to the Apple headquarters. So I'm sure you do taxes for a lot of the Apple executives. Yeah.
we have a lot of Apple clients. Yeah, we have some, people at Apple earning some pretty big money
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
cater
So
to.
so so Abe knows his stuff. Like he's like I said, like my income compared to some of these other people is nothing. Um, So, Abe, I guess the number one question that I have, and I'm sure Glenn has too, is what can we write off for our business? Because I hear a lot of people like in the Facebook groups, they're trying to give legal advice
Hmm.
from non accountants, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense, man. Why are you guys giving advice? And before you answer that, let me just add a disclosure. This is just general advice. um, this is something that Abe does with me personally. So don't take this as like legal advice. So if you guys want personal advice, go talk to your own CPA. But going back to the question, Abe, uh, in general, what can people write off for their business?
Well, if it's an ordinary business, meaning it's a business that's not based on a passive income like rentals, or that is not a royalty based business, usually you have to look at something in the code which says Section 162. Section 162 in the code basically defines businesses that are ordinary and necessary. So it's an extremely broad definition, to be honest with you, because a lot of companies have argued that something is very necessary for them to conduct a business. But in general, things that you are absolutely in need of to run your business are usually things that are deductible against your business.
Hmm.
Now, deductions before, most of things used to be capitalized or amortized, most of the expenses. And the Supreme Court ruled that basically deductions are an act of grace technically from the government. That they will allow you to expense everything just immediately, rather than capitalize it over a certain time. Now, to make it more concrete to understand in English, so let's say you have a business, okay? Now, if you have a business and you have a brick and mortar shop and you sell a widget, so obviously anything that you need to run the business is basically deductible, as far as the rent from the shop, the electricity, the utilities, the phone bill for the shop, employee wages. These are usually all deductible.
Those are all
Uh,
deductible. Okay.
these are deductible expenses. Delivery costs, postage, other utilities that we didn't mention, certain internet costs.
Sure.
And there are certain costs that can be expensed immediately, or they are what they call capitalized. A capital expense is something that, usually these are those big expenses that have a long life.
Hmm.
So basically, if you like buy a rental property, which is $1 million property, for instance, it's not expense. You cannot expense it, but you can capitalize it, which is you depreciate the property over a certain time, like 27 years or 39 years, depending on what it is.
Wow. Okay. I mean that's a whole lot of information. Okay. So how about this? How about in the business that me and Glenn are doing? So Abe, like I said, he's been doing my taxes since I was doing eBay and Amazon FBA, and obviously, and I'm sure you have thousands of conversations, Abe. And I don't know if you remember
Mhm.
what you said to me earlier this year when I went to you to do last year's taxes. You were like,
Hmm.
dude, why don't you sell on eBay and Amazon FBA again because you're making so much damn money? And I was like, I want to put that on hold because I'm really trying to focus on this new merch by Amazon where I collect royalty. So in the sense of I'm doing internet work, like for instance, the podcast, right? Like Glenn and I, we've been doing this podcast. We somewhat monetized it now. Like, can we write off like the cost of hosting like the podcast, for example?
Oh yeah, of course. Now, if you are doing a podcast, so what would your expenses be? Now, if you have any software that you need to have a subscription to run the podcast, now that's a deductible expense under Section 162. If you have certain things that you need, like to run the office, like stationery, supplies, office expenses, these are all usually deductible. Now, if you rent out a space where you run the business out of, now you can deduct the rent of that space. Now, if you hire employees, you can deduct the wages that you pay those employees. The social security and Medicare taxes that you pay on behalf of the employees that work for you are also deductible because you have to pay as an employer half their social security taxes and Medicare. So these are usually deductible expenses you can run in a business like yours. If you have to pay royalties to someone to use their business, to use something that they have that is important for your podcast, and these royalty payments are also deductible.
Interesting. Glenn, did you have any questions?
So you gave us an example of like the basic business type of plan thing. You talked a little bit briefly about royalty collecting and kind of comparing it to having like rentals, things like that. I think print on demand merch by Amazon kind of runs into the royalty part since it's collecting royalties every month. So what kind of deductibles, I guess, can we technically have and create if we're not buying and selling goods?
Physical goods, yeah.
Okay, you see, the royalties are treated more like a passive income because general ordinary income is usually treated what they call earned income, is subject to Social Security and Medicare. Now, the great thing about the royalty to start with is that usually royalty income is most of the time not subject to the self-employment taxes. So right off the bat, you have a big advantage that you're not paying Social Security and Medicare on those taxes. Usually, instead of a business where it is declared on a Schedule C most of the time, or from a K1 from a partnership, it's usually declared on a Schedule E, just like rental income is. So right off the bat there, you don't have to pay like, so if you have 50 grand worth of income, that is not from royalty, you're going to be hit with like a $7,600 Social Security tax. On a royalty, you're not. So right off the bat, on a $50,000 income from royalty, you don't have to pay that $7,600. Now, the things that you spent to develop the royalty are usually deductible. But on the flip side, usually a lot of times royalties have smaller deductions because to produce a royalty, it's usually basically the knowledge of the person who produced it that is the material factor. So unless you're spending, you're running a business to produce that stuff that produces a royalty, it's like your deductions are slightly less, are less of an issue.
And
like
that's
what
why
expenses do you have? If you can run some of the some of the expenses that you go through, I can give you a little bit of a better. I can give you a better answer if you would like.
well, I mean, for instance, like as content creators, like Glenn and I, we both have a background in graphic design. Like if we were to buy software, fonts, just computers, things like that, that's related to what we do. Those are all technically write-offs then, right?
Usually, these are the creation of that of that thing that gives rise to the royalty is usually deductible. So that is correct. That is
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
I remember you told me when I first started this whole merch by Amazon journey, you were like, oh, you're collecting royalties. You said it was much better for me as far as tax
Yes,
wise.
because it's just that I told you, because you're not
Yeah,
subject to the self-employment taxes. So
exactly.
you don't have that 15.6% surcharge for Social Security and
Yeah.
Medicare. And that's a
See,
pretty big, so
see, and this is
it
why
will
I'm
make
trying
you
to
so much money.
and this is why I'm trying to scale this so much, Abe. I know you were saying
Mhm.
get back into eBay and all that, but dude, I'm trying to scale this business so hard and so fast. But thank you for that. Uh, quick question:
Mhm.
LLC or S
Mhm.
corp?
Okay. Well, the reason you have LLCs, S corps, C corps, all those entities is because you actually uh, each one of them serves a certain purpose and is beneficial at in a certain way. Now, LLCs and S corps carry a lot of similarities. Now, an S corp is basically a corporation that is under Section S of the subchapter S of the Revenue Code. Of the corporate code, meaning you instead of the corporation paying its own taxes, the income from the corporation flows through to the shareholder, and the shareholder declares that income on his personal tax return, and he pays the taxes on his personal tax return. Now, LLCs are not an entity per se. LLCs are usually like a designation. So technically, you can be an LLC that's a single member. So you file your income on Schedule C. It could be for a rental, a lot of rentals and passive income. You can so basically it's on Schedule E, or it could be a partnership. So you and I can set up a partnership and make it an LLC. So we file a partnership return for federal purposes. Now, so at the end, the income is very similar between an LLC and an S corp. The LLC, the reason they are more beneficial in a lot of ways is because they give you more flexibility, whereas an S corp is treated like a corporation. So I'll give you a very simple example to explain. Let's say there's an S corp that you and I are the shareholders and we both own 50% of it. So if we make $1 of profit or $1 of loss, it's divided 50-50 no matter what. Sure. Now, in an LLC, let's say we have a partnership LLC, you and I. We can do the distributions differently. We can say, let's say that I will put 80% of the capital and you will only contribute 20. But then we can still distribute the profit 50-50. And then for the loss, we can distribute 70-30 if we wish. So that flexibility is a major aspect of the LLC. Over an S corp. Now, where does the S corp come a little bit more handy? The S corp comes usually handy for people who have a business, because if you have a self-employment from an LLC, so let's say you and I have a business and we run a business, okay, we sell widget X. Now, at the end, let's say we each have 50 grand in an LLC. That 50 grand will be subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes. So each one of us will be on the hook for $7,500 worth of Social Security and Medicare. Now, if it's an S corp, the distributions from the S corp are not subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, so you can save a lot on Social Security and Medicare taxes from an S corp.
I do remember I remember a couple of years ago you told me to sign up for an S corp, and I haven't done that, but I'm thinking I might take your advice here soon. Glenn, did you have any questions?
Have you seen a rise, let's say, in like e-commerce and these people people in general trying to make money outside of their regular 9-to-5 jobs and doing, whether it is print on demand or eBay or some of these other e-commerce websites, at least the last maybe like 3 to 5 years?
Well, usually businesses are very, there's a lot of things that come and go and things change with time. I mean, so anything that is related to tech usually is always there. Now, the eBay and Amazon business was, actually 10, 12 years ago, you saw a lot of people get into it. Now it has become, I have noticed, a little bit more difficult. Before it was a little bit easier, you could put a couple of things you have at home and sell them and make a couple of bucks. But now it has become very difficult, and Amazon did a lot of things. They make it more difficult for people to sell. But for people who have a niche product, I have seen a reduction in number of people doing it, but the people that are doing niche products are making more money. Mm-hmm. So there are certain niche products that you can make good money on. I'm not giving you business advice, but what I usually notice, a lot of people that have that thing that other people don't, as in every industry, they tend to do well online. If you have some, car parts for a 1985 Honda that nobody else has, you can make a 500% profit, for instance, Or certain baseball cards, collectible baseball cards that if somebody wants to have that they cannot, or some kind of, famous classics and comics, These people make good money, but a lot of those people that are selling in bulk or getting stuff from China and selling, it's an extremely competitive business. I see a lot of people getting in, but I also a lot of people losing a huge amount of money too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, one question that I have, Abe, what the hell is, like when I've sold on eBay and maybe times have changed. And Glenn, you probably know this more than I do because you sell on eBay more than I do. But when I sold on eBay in the past, Abe, it's always been easy, right? I just collect the money from the customer, goes to my PayPal account, and that's pretty much it. With Etsy, it's so freaking complicated, man. Yeah, you got to collect taxes on certain things, and there's it's just I mean, basically, I guess my question is, how can I make my tax situation on Etsy easier?
Yeah, but this is well, this is more of a business situation. That's more of a business question than a tax question. Now, the thing is, what happened is before. That's basically a little bit of the trend that you're facing in all e-commerce. Is before a long time ago, the nexus of the business. A lot of those e-commerce companies did not have an issue of sales tax. Technically, you're selling from eBay, but the customer is out of California. You don't collect sales tax. It was easy. But then you started having issues of fraud, people, issues of people, hacking to other people's accounts, and then you had the states, when the e-commerce business became a pretty sizable business and running into the billions, the states came in and they all wanted their share. And as you can see now, Amazon and eBay and all those are starting to collect sales tax also to send it to the government because they're making the government is making the case in each state that the nexus of your business is in the state. You have a warehouse here, you have employees here, the seller is here or the buyer is here. So basically, sometimes what you have is you have one website here and there will be just ahead of the game. But in general, technically, people who buy stuff online or sell online, there's liability to pay sales tax or use tax. So you are responsible to pay it to the government. So a lot of people who are selling usually they collect it so that they don't come after them for not collecting sales tax and make them responsible for it. But in general, this is more of a trend. 15, 16 years ago, the issue of not collecting sales tax was very widespread, but now it's becoming more of an issue for the states. So it's becoming tougher to get away from collecting sales.
Okay. What the hell is the VAT? And I think I asked you this before, but I swear to God, man, I talked to so many people about it. VAT. Why is it so freaking complicated?
VAT is not a tax you have in the US. It's similar to a sales tax, but VAT is basically what they call a value-added tax. You don't have that in the United States. The value-added tax is more a tax that you would see in countries like in European countries and in some Asian countries. There's more to that. A value-added tax is like basically a sales tax that is at every level of when you build a certain product. The sales tax is kind of factored into it, so it makes it easier for the government to collect it. So when you're getting the product, everything is already built into it, and that's why it's called value-added tax. But in the US, you don't have it; you don't pay that.
But for instance, like when I sell on Etsy, and I have a customer like in the UK who's trying to buy my product, they start talking about this VAT. It just gets so freaking confusing. Is it just better to just not even sell to overseas? You think?
Well, Europe, the VAT is basically a sales tax. So the same drama that you have with collecting sales tax here, the VAT is the similar. It's their part of VAT. A value-added tax is basically a sales tax. You take the value, you add a certain percentage. That's what the value-added tax is. It's very similar to the sales tax that we have here. So when they are buying something there, and if Etsy is making you collect the VAT, because a lot of people here, like on eBay, I think before, and Amazon, you can sell to Europe and not pay the sales tax. So that's a very big advantage because the sales tax in Europe is somewhere sometimes like close to 20%. So it gives you a very big advantage. You have a huge competitive advantage, especially for a bigger product. So if they are requiring if the e-commerce site is requiring you to collect VAT, then basically they're requiring you to collect the sales tax. That's all it is, basically.
You make it sound like it's so damn easy, man.
It's not easy, saying pay money is easy, but actually, shelling out the money, obviously it's hard for every one of us. But in general, you want to simplify things. If you want to go into details of things too much, you'll end up never working. You'll end up trying to understand everything. By the time you figure anything out, you're too old to do business.
No, there was a video that I watched on it, man. They were saying you have to calculate the distance from where you're shipping it from to where it's going, and it was I just don't want to deal with it, man.
Yeah, I know. There's a way to calculate. In general, it's more of a the value added tax is basically a sales tax.
Yeah. Hey, what software do you recommend for bookkeeping? I know there's a bunch of them out there, but what do you prefer?
Mhm. Well, I don't. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not crazy about anything too much. But for basically for doing your books, I mean, there's like two or three common softwares. One of them is QuickBooks by Intuit. I think their desktop version is a little bit better, but they try to sell you the monthly subscription, which makes them more money and it's easier to kind of link to your bank accounts. But their desktop version is decent, more user friendly, I would say. And then you have
Mm.
a software called Zero with an X, which is not bad. Xero. You might want to take a look at
Okay,
it.
Xero.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's like you can, if you don't have the huge amount of transactions, you can track them on Excel or any software that you wish,
Right.
or Google Sheets or something. But in general, usually QuickBooks and Zero are softwares that are used mostly here by a lot of enterprises.
I remember the first time that I went into your office, I pulled out my laptop and I said, I'm using Google bookkeeping. You're like, what the hell is that? But it works, right? It works. It keeps my record intact. So every year I just go into your office with my laptop and we just kind of go over everything. Except this year was a little different.
Mhm.
We did everything virtually, and that actually worked out pretty good too. Um, Let me
That
ask
is
you.
correct.
Yeah, Abe, let me ask you. I know. Are you by any chance willing to take on any more clients? Because I swear, I know for a fact that as soon as this episode comes out, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, how can I hire Abe?" Are you? I don't know if you're taking on more clients or not. Is that something you want to do?
I can usually we take clients on a case by case basis. Obviously, we just evaluate the client to make sure that we can actually give them a value for coming and seeing us and taking the time, and
Okay.
the fact that we can actually for what we are billing him to make sure that it's a good fit for both of us. So the allocation of time and the billing and the value to the customer are all factors we decide and if it does work, then we'll be happy to take on a client like that and give them some value.
And I will say this. So we mentioned this earlier in the show. Abe and I, we live in Northern California, where everything is practically double or triple here, right? So if you guys do decide to maybe hire Abe and he gives you a price for his services, it might seem a little high depending on where you guys live. That's normal here, so don't freak out. But I can tell you, Abe's been doing my taxes for years. He's a good guy. He does good work. He's really he's Abe always tells people your bookkeeping has to be on point. I admit my bookkeeping is probably not the best, but if you do your bookkeeping well, I think Abe is a good person. He like I said, he knows his stuff. Um, you want to give out your phone number, or should I just have them contact me? Because I know you probably. I mean, again, I mean, we have. I mean, this podcast is a worldwide phenomenon. We have people everywhere listening to us, right? So
Yeah, no, it's not a problem.
I
I
don't want to
can.
bombard. I don't want to bombard your office with phone calls. So maybe I'll have them message me if they're interested in your services, and I'll just forward them to you.
Yes, you can do that. You can give them my email or you can give them my phone number when somebody contacts you, and we can take it from there and we can see how we can help that person.
Cool, man. And let's say I happen to bring you like 10 clients this year. Does that mean I get a little break on my taxes?
It's not a problem. I'll be happy to take care of you. I've always done, and I will
Yes.
make sure I'll make it even sweeter for you.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I know you're
All
super
right.
busy. Um, congratulations on the baby again. I know you're also engaged. We had talked. Um, um, I'll be disappointed if I don't get an invitation to your wedding. I know you said you were talking about maybe getting married in Europe somewhere. Uh,
Yeah, well, I have it on my mind. Don't worry. I will definitely. You'll be one of the first people I would tell. I'd love to have you
yes.
come over.
Thank you, Abe. See, that means a lot to me, man. That really does mean a lot. So, Abe, thank you so much. I know you're busy. Um, if you guys are interested in his services, just contact me. But you have to be serious, okay? The reason I don't want to give out your information, Abe, I've had people freaking prank call me and stuff, because of the podcast in the past, and I just don't want that to happen to you. So if you guys are serious about his services, contact me, and I'll connect you guys. But hey, man, thanks so much, and we'll talk here in the near future. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, my pleasure.
All
All
right,
right,
Abe.
buddy.
Thank you.
All right,
Talk
thanks.
to you soon. Bye bye.
Great interview, man. What'd you think?
I mean, like you said, all these technical things. Some of them I think like S corp and things like that. I was thinking about doing it too, but then I need to really do more research about it.
I'll be honest with you. Like 80% of the stuff that he said went over my head. Right. That's why That's why I just go into his office. I'm like, here, you just take care of it. I just
Like, I
do
don't
my.
want to have to learn this stuff.
I just do my like. I just try to keep my bookkeeping intact. And then every year during tax season, I just go in there and he does all that. Um, but um, but yeah, guys, we really apologize for the audio. Um, I know there was a lot of background noise. The guy sounded like he was on a freaking motorcycle or something, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on back there. Something.
Yeah, he actually rides a motorcycle. He probably did a show on the motorcycle. He's probably talking and riding his motorcycle and giving us advice. So who knows, man? But yeah, man, he's a good guy. If you guys are interested in his services, again, um, contact me. But I'm just gonna let you guys know, okay? Whatever he charges you, it's what he charges his clients out here in Cupertino, California, and that's the norm. Okay, I can, however, vouch for him. He does good work. Um, as long as your bookkeeping is on point, he'll take care of you as far as taxes. Okay, that's just my recommendation. But yeah, so if you guys are interested, let me know. Glenn, I think you should fire your CPA and hire him. What do you think?
I only pay my CPA a pretty
How much do you pay
low.
your CPA?
I can't reveal certain information, but I can tell you it's probably way less than what
Is it more
I
than
would be
300?
paying in California.
Just tell me this. You pay more than 300?
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
This is
maybe
this is El Paso, Texas.
Well, maybe I should fire Abe and hire your CPA because that's dirt cheap.
Yeah, I don't pay that amount.
Okay, but no, you know what, guys? Like I said, Abe, he does taxes for executives that probably make 10 times more than what I make, right? So he knows he knows the job very well. He does tax. He's been doing taxes for years. He's been doing what did he say? He said call him a general. What a general. What was that term?
I don't even remember what the term was.
Something.
You weren't having it. You're my accountant, though.
I'm like, dude, man, why are you trying to sound all professional? I've never even heard those words come out of your mouth before, man. Call you a what? You're my damn CPA, man. But what is he says something like a licensed or some agent or something? I don't know what the hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So if you guys are interested, just contact me. I don't want to give out his information because again, I give out my information, I get freaking prank calls and crazy ass messages. So if you guys are interested, message me and then I'll forward that message to him. Otherwise, hey, let's talk next week, man. Any plans for the weekend?
Just trying to catch up. I think on merch and eBay stuff. Pretty much just gonna be working and editing and same old stuff. But I think by the time this comes out, game 2 will be over. But you have Cavs or you have Warriors?
Warriors, man. That was a dumb question.
I'm just asking.
That was a dumb question. I don't even know how to answer that question.
Just because you live over there doesn't mean you have to be a fan.
Of course it does. But yeah, Warriors. That was a good game last night. Next one's on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday night.
Cool. Where can people find you, man?
hustlerhacks1@gmail.com. Email me, hustlerhacks on YouTube. Young?
You know what? Just tag me on Facebook. Message me on Facebook and tag me on Facebook.
That is it. All right. See you next week.